What? Students will be able to determine common and least common multiples, otherwise known as LCM.
You said
These should be familiar words. We have numerator and denominator, and we have roller coaster. Hey, we live in Santa Claus, right? We also have the words fraction strip.
How do you add or subtract fractions with like denominators? Think about this question during the lesson.
And I'm going to just back it up here for a moment. I went to the wrong lesson. Let's try this again. We are on 2. We already know how to do that other one. Let's focus on the LCM. There we go. Oh, look at there. There's the word common. Mrs. Haas was talking about common multiple. And then down there, least common multiple. Look at what's highlighted in the first one. 24s and 48s. Because that's what these two numbers, the 6 and the 8, have in common. But down here, they only highlighted the 24s. Think about that as we go through.
How do you find the least common multiple of two numbers? Think about this question during the lesson. Lauren is buying fish fillets and buns for the soccer team dinner.
Now we know it's fish, not chicken.
What is the smallest number of fish fillets and buns she can buy to have the same number of each? Let's find out. What information do you need to solve the problem?
What do we need to know? Ellie?
how many people is she serving?
How many people is she serving? Anything else, Grace?
The number of
Buns and fish fillets, okay.
This is making me hungry.
Me too.
You need to know the number of fish fillets and the number of buns in each package. Is the number of fish fillets in each package the same as the number of buns in each package?
That makes sense. We need to know how many come in a pack before we can determine how many we need.
Let's find out.
No, the numbers in each package are different. What is the first thing you should do to solve this problem?
What do you think, Butch?
How many fish fillets and buns are per package?
To solve this problem, find the common multiples of 6 and 8.
Okay, so let's assume we know. We can tell that there's 4 on the top, Butch, right? So that means there's how many on the bottom?
There's 4 on the bottom.
For a total of 8. That's where we get our 8. And then we can count and see that there are 6 that come in each package, right? I'm not sure if I'm recording, so I move that. Yeah, I am. Okay. Just making sure. If I can. I'm just going to leave it. There we go.
A common multiple is a number that is a multiple of 2 or more numbers. What strategy do you use to find common multiples of 2 numbers?
What did we do before when we wanted to find common multiples of 2 numbers? Haley? We had to make a list of something, but what were we making a list of? What numbers can go into 6 and 8?
What were those called? The numbers that we multiply together to equal 6, or the numbers that we multiply together to equal 8. What are those called? Not prime numbers.
What do you call?
Factors.
Factors.
So we're not looking for factors, we're looking for multiples. So what are multiples? Ellie, when you multiply two factors, then you're going to get your multiples. So multiples of 6 are 6 times 1 is 6 times 2,
And so on.
6 times 3. Okay.
Okay.
Counting by 6s, that would be your multiples of 6.
So if you count by 6 to get multiples of 6, what are you going to count by to get multiples of 8? What, Austin? You count by 8s.
To find the common multiple, you must first find the multiples of each number. How do you find a multiple of a number?
What do we say again, just to make sure you've got this? How do we find a multiple, Dylan? Summerlot?
How you find a multiple is multiplying by 6 or whatever you have to another number.
Okay, so we would do.
So it's pretty much like
where would
multiple.
we start with our 6s then? We would go 6 times
6 times 1 is 6, or
6 times 2 is 12. 6 times, we would start listing out the multiples.
To find the multiple of a number, you multiply the number by 1, 2, 3, 4, etc. Look at the listed multiples of 6 and 8. What are the common multiples?
Remember what was highlighted at the beginning?
Yeah, the 24, the 48.
I see a 24 for 6 and a 48. I also see that 8 has 24 and 48. We would highlight those because those are the ones they have in, what's the word, Paige? Sit up, please, Haley. Common, right? We're looking for in common. What's another word we could use for the ones they have, words they have in common? We could also say we're looking for the ones that are what?
Related.
Not related. What, Desiree?
Can't we call it common factor?
We could say common multiples is what we're going to call it here. Common multiples, okay? But another word for common would be what, Daniel? We're looking for what they have that is the same. We're looking for what is this, what multiples they have that are the same.
would be similar.
Well, not even similar. We're looking for what similar would be kind of like alike, but we want them to be looking for the ones they have that are the same or common.
Okay.
Common multiples of 6 and 8 are 24 and 48. Will 6 and 8 have other common multiples? How do you know?
That's a good question. What do you think, Grace?
No, because there's no other higher common factors than 48.
None that are listed, right? Okay. Let's see what they say here.
Yes, 6 and 8 will have other common multiples, such as 72. The pattern shows that multiples of 24 will be multiples of both 6 and 8.
Ah, okay. So do you see where they got the 7? Just because it's not listed, Grace, doesn't mean they won't farther down. If we were to keep multiplying out, we would eventually see another one in common. Because if you look, 24 and 24, then two 24s would be 48. If you were just to add another 24 to each of these, you'd have another common multiple, and so on. Keep adding those.
One thing we need to keep in mind is that multiples and factors are two very different things. We kind of list them the same, but they're very different. Factors, you're going to have an end. There's an end to your factors. These are the factors of 6. These are the factors of 8. When you list multiples of 6, you could literally go on forever. You could take 6 times 582. And what is the multiple that you get? Now, would we ever do that? No, probably not. But you could. So you're going to notice that you could go on forever, but you will stop when you find the most important thing that you want common multiples for is least common multiple in dealing with fractions.
Now, find the least common multiple of 6 and 8. A least common multiple LCM, is the least number that is a multiple of both numbers. Both 24 and 48 are common multiples of 6 and 8. So, the least common multiple of 6 and 8 is 24. Lauren will need to buy 24 fish fillets and 24 buns. Can two numbers have more than one least common multiple?
What do you think, Macy? Can two numbers have more than one least common multiple? How many of you, okay, I'm not gonna put Mason. How many of you say yes they can? How many of you say no they can't? A lot of no's. Let's see if you're right.
No, two numbers can only have one number that is the least common multiple.
Nice job, you guys.
You have learned how to find the least common multiple of two numbers by working through this problem.